Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the finals of the AccelerateHER Awards 2021. I hope you're all staying positive and testing negative in these strange times. My name is Elizabeth Pibby and I'm your MC for this morning. And as Chief Operating Officer of AccelerateHER, I make no secret of the fact that I have the best job in the world. And by the end of this morning, after hearing from just a small sample of the incredible female founders that I get to speak to every day, I think you'll understand why I say that. Now, at this point, I would normally explain that we aren't expecting any fire drills today and that the toilets are situated through the doors at the back of the hall. But since you're all responsible for your own escape routes and bathroom breaks, I shall instead pass over to Jackie Waring, CEO of AccelerateHER, to say a few words of welcome and encouragement. Jackie.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and good morning and welcome everybody to our 6th AccelerateHER Awards finals. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here, and you're not going to regret it. You're in for a treat. You are about to hear 12 amazing female founders pitch, and they are going to blow socks off. I really can't believe that it has been 6 years since we first launched AccelerateHER. It's been such an amazing journey in between, really amazing. But nor can I believe it's a year since COVID forced us into a digital transformation. And that was in record time. And this time last year, we made the decision when lockdown was announced, literally days before our face-to-face final, that we simply could not let our 12 female founders down and the show had to go on. So we went digital in a week. Now, I won't pretend that that wasn't stressful. We've all got the grey hairs to prove it. But my goodness, wasn't that the best decision that we ever made? Elizabeth is going to share some more information with you about that later. But here's just a few of the outcomes for last year's finalists to give you a flavour of that. A third were proactively approached by UK-wide investors within days of the finals. 3/4 have since secured investment and innovation funding for their growth of their companies. And one of our finalists is right now getting really close to securing a major international contract with a corporate who saw their pitch on YouTube after the events. So we're thrilled because it just shows that this is working, because it was always our intention with AccelerateHER to create a platform and high visibility for talented female founders going for growth and scale with their companies. And we could not have achieved this without the backing of our wonderful partners. So the Scottish Government, Barclays Bank and Eagle Labs, and global IT company CGI have all been amazing partners with us. And they've sponsored not just the awards and more besides, and all of it helping female founders. And I'd also like to thank Aberdeen Considine for continuing to give legal support to our annual Rising Star winner. And new this year, Purpose HR, who are also offering HR support to our Rising Star. So all of you, thank you so much. We love working with you. It's an absolute pleasure. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you. So all that remains for me to do now is to say a massive good luck to all our 12 finalists today. We've seen you in action so many times already, ladies, and you are all amazing, every one of you. And I know that you are absolutely going to nail it this morning, and just want to remind you that you've already won through an awful lot of competition to get here today, so you're already winners, but also you heard about some of the great things that have happened for last year's finalists. You know, everybody will benefit from being involved in this today and beyond today. So just remember that whatever the outcome, this is going to be great and great for you. And I know you're going to be brilliant. So good luck. And Elizabeth, I'm going to pass back to you now, just to run through how it's all going to run today and to introduce our wonderful finalists. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Now, we've got a jam-packed schedule this morning, so without further ado, let's get down to business. You're shortly going to hear a 3-minute pitch from each of our finalists in turn. We've got 4 categories and 3 finalists in each category as follows. In cleantech and climate, we have Mary Cochrane from DreamPads, Claire Rogers and Emily Rampin from Wreath, and Ash Penley from Zoex Power. In disruptive innovation, we have Catherine Patterson from So2 Company, Tess Whitaker from The Voice Distillery, and Rebecca Goss from XGenix. In fintech, data science and cybersecurity, we have Sarah Werner of Husmus, Lynn Darcy Quigley of Knowit, and Beth Michael of Striva. And finally, in medtech and science, we have Ishani Malhotra of Carcinotech, Kate Cameron of Cytochroma, and Jude Sims of MyGoForward. Prepare to be very impressed. After each pitch, the finalists will answer questions from our 3 judges. And this year, I'm delighted to welcome to the judging panel Sonal Lakhani of Barclays, Lindsay McGranahan of CGI, and Ben Davey of EFIC1. You'll hear a bit more about them later. Now, I'm going to allow a maximum of 3 minutes of questions per participant. That's not long, so judges, please keep your questions short, and founders, make your answers concise. You'll notice I used the word maximum, and I am renowned for my strict timekeeping, and today will be no different. And I have my trusty bell with me to help with that. You have 3 minutes to pitch, finalists, and at the end of that 3 minutes, you will hear this sound. You should stop as soon as you hear the bell. At the end of the 3 minutes of questions, I will ring my bell again. If you are in the middle of answering a question, then I'll ask you to wrap it up as quickly as possible. If a judge is in the middle of asking a question, I'll ask them to finish asking, but then you should respond to that question in a private chat message to that judge. Hopefully that makes sense. That just lets us get on with the next pitch. And to those of you who are watching, I'm sure there will be questions that you're dying to ask the founders. Please type them in the Q&A section. You'll see a wee icon for Q&A at the bottom. Type them in there, and once the founders have finished answering the judges' questions, they'll get on to typing answers to your questions. With all that said, let's get on with the show. Our first category, of course, is cleantech and climate, and with the rather daunting task of going first out of all the finalists, I'd like to welcome Mary Cochrane of DreamPads. Hi, Mary, are you there? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You have slides to share?
I don't know.
Excellent. Just ready when you are then.
Perfect. LilyPads are on a mission to ensure that no one is limited by their periods. We design and sell reusable period pads, and these sales support our global mission to end period poverty. Over 400 million sanitary pads are sent to landfill each year just in Scotland. LilyPads are 100% reusable, reducing an individual's carbon footprint by up to 90%. The UK period and incontinence market is worth £480 million, and it's growing at nearly 6%. The global market is worth $20.9 billion, and reusables are seeing a massive growth. Governments and third-party agencies are driving changes in attitudes towards reusable products through educational campaigns. In the UK, 2.5 million women currently use reusable products, and approximately 150,000 are converting each year. These changes aren't going unnoticed, with global players like Nike and Kimberly-Clark investing $25 million in a US reusable company in 2019. LilyPads are in a perfect position to capitalise on this growth. We want to educate and convert the 84% of UK women who still use disposable products before entering the global market. In July 2020, we ran a crowdfunder which launched our product. We soft tested our website, which allowed us to engage with customers, get product feedback, and test the market. We have currently sold to 220 customers. We recently received funding from Innovate UK, and this will allow us to conduct further product development. Our pad currently outperforms our competitors. It's thinner, more comfortable, and more absorbent. It uses a curved design and a material not used by anyone else in the sanitary industry. We recently partnered with a branding and marketing agency, which will prepare us for a rebrand and a relaunch of our new and improved product later this year. Working closely with growth advisors, we were able to recognise our growth potential. This has changed our financial figures from those you see in front of you, and we're now aiming for a revenue of £2.2 million by the end of year 3. Our journey started 3 years ago in rural Kenya after we discovered many young girls were being forced to engage in transactional sex in exchange for period pads. Ever since this moment, we have been committed to finding a solution, and we now work with communities in Kenya, Uganda, and Cambodia, training women to run their own microfinance businesses. Lily Pads are a young and passionate team made up of myself and my co-founder Alison Wood. We're supported by Elaine Galston of Investing Women and Alice Thompson, co-founder of Social Bite. Winning AccelerateHER would be incredible for us, allowing us to access an incredible network of support, allowing us to explore international markets. Please help us ensure no one is limited by their body. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, that was brilliant, Mary. Bang on 3 minutes. Judges, have you got any questions for Mary?
Yes, I'll kick off. Look, thank you very much. Great presentation and a great job kicking off the session. So look, first of all, the 2 questions, I've just run them together. Have you protected your design? Are there IP features of what you are doing? And then secondly, how have you set up your manufacturing process, and are you ready to scale?
Yeah, so in reference to the first question, we just applied for a design right to protect the design of the pad. Our previous patent audit ensured that there's no IP overlap with any companies. I think the brand's going to be the most important part for us to protect. And we're working with the branding agency for a rebrand. All of that will be trademarked. And the material's protected as it's not public, and it's protected through NDAs by anyone who's aware of that. Manufacturing, we're working with a manufacturer who works with much larger companies than us, and so they will be able to scale up production pretty much instantly. But we're kind of the smallest company they currently work with. It's a European manufacturer, and we have a really good relationship with them.
Great, thank you.
Okay, question for me, Mary, well done. And as Ben says, thank you for going first. Not an easy task, I'm sure. So just a question, you talked about the support that you would benefit from winning. Just a question about your team, you know, and resources that you've got at the moment and more immediate support that you need. Where would you see that you've got potential gaps and where we could potentially support further?
Yep, so as I said, we're a young but really passionate team. My co-founder Alison leads product development. She's a product development specialist and has designed the pad and every kind of design of the pad so far. I lead our communication and marketing strategy, but I am not an experienced marketer. Marketing and branding is definitely our biggest gap right now. And so we're working with a branding agency who will help us with a rebrand, and we recently received funding to help us fund someone to come on part-time to help us with marketing. Later on, we'd be looking to employ someone with experience taking our product to market, and that will be later this year.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, one question for me. What's the cost, approximate cost right now for the pad, and how will that be different from the average cost in the market today of reusable products?
So we sell a pack of pads, which is like our average size of pack for £25, and that's much cheaper than our competitors. So reusable underwear, who are probably our biggest competitor right now, averaging about £30 for one pair. A pack of our pads is 4. So that's definitely our key kind of USP and differentiator from period underwear. Other reusable period pad companies can average anywhere between about £25 up to £70 for a same pack of pads. However, the quality is much less compared to our pad, and so that will differentiate us again. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, Mary. And as the judges said, well done going first. It's never easy being the first one up, but you did a great job, so well done.
Thank you so much.
We'll give the judges a wee bit of time in between the pitches just to log their scores and jot down any notes. While they're doing that, I'm going to take a minute to tell you a wee bit about our first judge, Ben Davey. This is Ben's second year as a judge and at the AccelerateHER finals. And even though he's had a change of job since then, Ben was keen to come back and be involved. Now, Ben has over 25 years experience in financial services and law, most recently as CEO and founder of Barclays Ventures. But he's now Chief Investment Officer at AFIC1, a European-listed special purpose acquisition company focused on fintechs. Ben, you're obviously a busy man, so we really appreciate you giving up your time for this today. Next up from our finalists, we have a double act. We have Emily Rogers and Claire Rampin from Wreath.
Hello. Hi,
Morning,
everyone.
how are you?
We're doing well.
Do you have slides to share?
Just our faces.
Just your lovely faces. Fantastic. Ready when you are.
Great, thank you. The UK generated 221 million tons of waste in 2016. 52.3 went to landfill. I'm Emily.
I'm Claire.
And we're building a future where nothing gets thrown away.
Our single-use problem goes a lot further than plastic straws. Electronic products, PPE, packaging, these are all designed to be single-use too. But legislation is changing. The plastic tax comes into play in the UK in 2022. The bottom line is it's going to cost businesses more and more to waste resources. Businesses across industries are changing how they operate in response to this. They're seeking ways to keep items in use for longer rather than throwing them away. We're shifting from single use to reuse.
But that is hard for businesses. Everything is built for single use, from inventory management systems to health and safety. Wreath is the only purpose-built software designed for businesses adopting reuse systems. We make it easier to manage the logistics, meet regulation, and measure environmental and economic impact. We are the go-to thought leaders in this space. We wrote the standard for reusable packaging with support from the Open Data Institute and Microsoft, and we're forming a steering committee with representatives from all UK governments, DEFRA, and GS1, the Global Barcode Organization.
This is an environmental and an economic opportunity that spans markets. Reusable packaging, for example, is worth over 10 billion and is largely untapped. Remanufacturing in Scotland alone is worth over 1 billion and grew by 620 million last year. In 12 months, we've brought a product to market with live clients, signed a national UK retailer partnership, and worked with the NHS on reusable PPE. Our current customers say that the Wreath software is helping them to pioneer responsible, safe reuse at scale.
We've won 6 awards, 3 Innovate UK grants, and are part of Tech Nation, the UK government-sponsored Net Zero Accelerator. We've raised a total of £300,000 from grants and private investment, and we're raising a further 1 million to move into the enterprise product space, further establish Wreath as global category leaders, and develop patentable technology in 2021. Our route to market has been to create case studies with smaller players and demonstrate the power of our technology. As we grow, we will work with partners who have established relationships with corporate retailers. We've just been accepted into the Founders Factory portfolio, sponsored by a FTSE 250 UK national retailer. There are analogous companies in different areas like in fashion, but Wreath are the market leaders in packaging, healthcare, and electronics.
We've worked with data, global businesses in prior careers and fast-growing startups coming together last year to found Wreath. We have a world-leading team. We surround ourselves with advisors from companies such as Google and academic mentors such as the University of Lancaster in the Data Lab. We welcome any questions you may have.
I was just starting to rhyme. Well done, ladies. Judges, your questions, please.
Thank you so much. That was so interesting. Could you just walk us through a case study, an actual example of how your technology works, please?
Sure. So essentially, we ask companies to apply a machine-readable tracker to their reusable asset. So if it's packaging, in this example, like a reusable jug of beer, they could apply something like a QR code, and that gives us a unique ID to log in our system. And we help them set up scanning points throughout their process where they want to basically create a passport for that item. And each time it's scanned, it gets stamped with different information, like what batch of the product is put into that jug at certain points, or when it is out with the customer, or when it's returned and cleaned. So you essentially get this ledger or passport full of stamps that records everything that's happened to that reusable item in its lifetime.
And then you can look at the aggregate data and start to build insights or do environmental reporting or compliance reporting from those aggregate data points.
Thank you. I've got a ton more questions, but I'll let the other judges go first.
Yes.
Just following up on that then, so in terms of your technology solution, etc., how have you guys protected the IP around that?
So we wrote the Open Data Standard on Reusable Packaging last year, and that was very much a kind of way to cement us as the core thought leaders of how to apply reuse to packaging. And from there, we've built our software on the backbone of that, and this year is really our focus around building machine learning technology that's patentable to further protect us and differentiate us on the market.
Yeah.
Great, and one for me quickly. Are there any restrictions to the industries that your software could apply to?
I mean, we're very cautious about the way that we pick our industries. So we choose industries that have compliance reporting requirements, i.e. trading standards are going to be coming and checking up, or like a health service, for example. And they also have to have stringent waste reporting requirements. So they're required to report how much packaging is on market, or WEEE requirements for electronics on market. And the reason for that is because it's only with those two, when those two come together, that makes Wreath's USP really valuable and important to that company. So we look at everything through that lens, and the way that we design the product is that you can essentially slot in different open data standards or data standards as we write them based on the market requirements, precisely so that we can go after multiple markets.
Very good. Oh.
Well done, folks. Were you going to try and sneak another one in there, Ben?
I was about to, but I got cut off.
Well done, Claire and Emily. It's like Ant and Dec, only you're talking sense. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so while the judges write up their notes, I will introduce another of our judges. Sonal Lakhani is Global Head of Innovations Programmes at Barclays. And amongst the many things that she does is she leads their global flagship programme, the Barclays Accelerator, powered by Techstars. And that's a programme to support, mentor and grow early stage growth fintech companies. She also leads the Rise Together strategy, whose aim is, to cultivate a more equitable startup ecosystem for female founders. Barclays are great friends of AccelerateHER, supporting not only the awards and the fantastic mentoring package that our winners will get today, but they also sponsor a mentoring programme that has so far provided angel mentoring for over 50 female founders. So now you're also a busy person. Welcome to your first AccelerateHER final. And now on with the pitches, and to wrap up the clean tech and climate category, we have Ash Penley of Zoex Power.
Hello.
Hello, any slides, Ash?
Yes, I will be.
You want to pull them up just now?
Yeah.
Just a reminder, folks, if the judges aren't asking the questions you want answered, do use that Q&A box at the bottom to ask questions of any of them that have pitched so far.
Can you see my slides?
I can indeed. You're not in presentation mode though, Ash.
Okay. Is that better?
That's it now. Perfect. Go for it.
Okay. Last year, I obtained funds from Scottish Enterprise, gathered the top engineers from University of Edinburgh, and developed a novel wave energy system, which works at small waves. And this is a very important differentiator. I'll explain in a minute. We have come up with a simple, sophisticated, and a robust system. It's made up of a Yokohama fender with an inbuilt electrical generator that's developed by Wave Energy Scotland funds in the recent years. That blue thing there in that picture. We have had an independent patent review which concluded 4 new patents: system as a whole, tidal tracking, storm protection, and optimization software. And the good news is that we can generate electricity at a rate that competes with diesel generators. This is great news. Diesel is used everywhere in offshore industries, such as aquaculture farms, island communities. And with the UK's binding net zero policy, people are already looking for clean alternatives. Our route to market is through our partner, a reputable engineering firm based in Aberdeen, who works closely with our target market. Our business model is income from royalties and optimization software, while our partner gets the EPC work. Other wave energy devices cannot compete with us in our target market because they need bigger waves. That's the importance of working at small waves. There's floating solar, but it has its limitations. So we are at this sweet spot. Diesel has a hefty $17 billion global market value, 17 billion. We have envisaged £12 million turnover in the next 5 years with 50 high-value jobs, mainly based in Scotland, some in Canada and China through our connections. I am the founder. I come from oil and gas sector. I've invested all my savings from the dirty oil to this clean tech last 5 years. Dave Finlay, our inventor and mechanical engineer, has 10 years experience in wave energy sector. We have in our team people with commercial skills and experience who can take a company from zero to millions. We aim to raise £1.2 million investment this year with grant funding to get our system up and running to the market. After that, another 3 million investment for growth capital. I've seen the devastation caused by climate change. Being a scuba diver, please join me in my journey to replace dirty diesel with our net zero solution. Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. Shall we go over there? Judges, have you got questions?
Yeah, question for me. So just around your plans for growth. So you talked about UK. Where do you see the opportunities for growth outside of the UK? You talked about 2025 in your little timeline. What would be the key enabler to be able to support international, if that's the future plans?
Sure. Actually in our we are in the Unlocking Ambition program right now with Scottish Enterprise, and with that we are purely looking at product market fit. One of the areas that our product fits perfectly is island communities, Pacific Islands and Indian island communities. So anyone want to come for a project location for Mauritius and all that, we're more than welcome. Absolutely, island communities is one of the reasons I would also like to introduce Richard Branson, because he has his own island and he does care for sustainability, and that's why I'm attending this competition for introductions, hopefully. So that's where we see our first initial entrance, islands, because islands are short in space for solar and wind. So land space is very important. That can be used for agriculture, for farming, for forestation. We are at the shoreline, tucked in. We don't take the valuable land space. And our on islands, again, diesel generators are used widely. We can replace the diesel generators right now without the economies of scale. So that's great.
Okay. I mean, because I asked that question, get to come to the islands with you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
If I could just ask a question on route to market. You mentioned an engineering partner. Are they helping you take this proposition out on a sales basis as well, or are you doing that directly?
We have agreement in place with a company called Sealand Projects. They're based in Aberdeen. They already work with, they've actually already developed a solution that they can offer to all the target market we're aiming, such as aquaculture, oil and gas, and offshore wind. And their solution is comprised of a buoy, a floating buoy, and we did have an application last year together with them, and they actually asked us whether they could attach ZOEX onto that buoy. So the approach actually came from them. So, for example, last year with the German trade mission, we had a meeting with the managing director of Wind Advisory Board in Germany, one of the biggest boards, and they were very interested in that solution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. You don't get extra time for tempting us with islands. However, I do Bagsy coming with you because I can fly from Aberdeen with you, so I think that's only fair.
Well, that's what I'm in this business for. I love island holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final judge, and I should say this is in no order of preference. I love all the judges equally, but our final judge is Lindsay McGranahan, who is Vice President of Scotland at CGI. Now, those of you who watched our showcase for International Women's Day will recognise Lindsay, and we're delighted to have her here as a judge today. Lindsay was appointed as CGI's business unit leader in Scotland in October 2019, and at 36 years of age then, she is one of the youngest people to hold such a position, senior position in the company's history. Excuse me. She's very passionate about encouraging young women into STEM and is a brilliant role model for them. Now, CGI is one of the largest independent IT and business consulting service firms in the world and have been supporters of AccelerateHER for 3 years now. We absolutely love working with them, and it's a pleasure to have you here today, Lindsay. And moving on to the disruptive innovation category now. First up there, we have Catherine Patterson of So2 Company. Hi, Catherine. I know you've got slides, so get them on. Perfect.
They're on.
There they go.
There we go.
Ready when you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm going to start with a problem. I, like countless other parents, put my baby to sleep in a traditional cot, but I was horrified to find her regularly with her arms and legs stuck in the cot bars, or she'd bump herself on the solid surfaces. So I bought cot bumpers thinking that they would help, but was further alarmed to read in the small print that there was a danger of strangulation and suffocation. So I did some research, and I found that the US had banned the guillotine drop side in 2011 because of the number of deaths in them, and that there are too many presentations of babies to A&E with injuries attributed to their cots. And it's not just babies who are injured, because most cot manufacturers now don't make cots with a guillotine drop side. This leaves parents exposed to lifting heavy toddlers from the bottom of their cots, causing potential back injury and strain. So this is the solution. Care cots, soft-sided, breathable, washable. There are no cot bars. All the solid surfaces are padded and all the edges are rounded. And it has a unique drop side based on rotational hinges at the rear and a hydraulic arm at the front. Care cot is patent granted in 5 nations, including in the US, where the guillotine drop side has been banned. And then when the child's old enough, the rear frame's removed, a headboard is added, and the child has the first bed. I've done a competitor review based on price point and design, but none have the full set of features of Care Cot, namely the drop side with the 360-degree mesh. The test house review of the latest prototype revealed no showstoppers. We've got branding confirmed, we've got an initial website, we've got ongoing discussions with retailers and manufacturers, and we're seeking investment to get to manufacture and sales. The global cot market is worth $1 billion and it's growing at 4% per annum. We've identified 3 interrelated routes to the UK consumer market. The first, direct to parent via consumer trade shows, complemented by sales through retail and online. With respect to the future, we will seek to export, particularly to countries where Care Cot is patent granted, to diversify through different styles, materials, personalisation, furniture ranges, and to expand into different sectors, nurseries, boutique hotels, family leisure businesses like centre parks, and healthcare settings. This is the team. I particularly like to draw attention to Sarah, who's the former Director of Product Development at Mothercare, and to Greg, who's the former CEO of Mothercare, and he's leading my fundraise. We're estimating sales at $1.5 million by year 3, generating a net profit of $300,000. So, in conclusion, Care Cot is the first to market global disruptive product addressing a real need. We foresee exit through sale, merger, or acquisition. It would be amazing if AccelerateHER could give me that springboard to growth through winning this award, but crucially to enable babies to sleep more safely and soundly. Thank you.
Oh, well done, Catherine. I was standing poised with the bell. Judges, your questions.
Thank you so much. That's so interesting. And I definitely have a sore back because I'm constantly going into my cot to get my kid out. A question for you. At this price point, one of the main things, well, not one of the main things, but one of the most exciting things about the cot industry is that all the different aesthetics you can have and the look that you want for your cot or for the nursery. Have you thought about that? And is there a way to change the aesthetic and the look of this particular cot?
It's phenomenally versatile, actually, because now you can print on mesh, for example. You can get all different colorways on the fabrics. We've had various iterations of the design with an A-frame or a drawer, so you can have different woods, different veneers. The whole prospect is quite exciting, really. You can think you're not just buying a dull brown cot, for example, a dull wooden cot, as it were. So yeah, we've thought about all of these, and we've got lots of ideas going forward as to how we can broaden the range once we get it onto the market as an established product.
And have you got it health and safety tested? And have you got the stamp of approval for that?
Yeah, obviously it's a prototype at the moment, but we've had 2 previous prototypes, including this one, that have been to the test house for a review against the standard, which is EN 716. And as I said in the presentation, revealed no showstoppers. So we're currently working with the Innovate UK grant through the Women Innovation Awards to do some tweaks to the final design to enable it to get to the market.
Thank you.
That's great. You touched on a number of routes to market without obviously naming names. Have you had enough on the distribution side from your potential retail partners to give you confidence that they're going to help you scale that distribution?
I've had conversation with John Lewis and with Phoenix. I don't think that's a problem to say that. And they're keen to see the final version once it's tested and to help bring it to market. But we've established a diverse route now, I think. Bearing in mind what's going on in online retail, we're very mindful of that. And hence why we concluded that going through consumer trade shows would be a good starting point, because you get a lot of PR with those. And through the independents who've done really well through COVID, because people are using more local retailers as well. So we're doing sort of a mixed market at a mixed market process to start off with in the UK, and then we'll build onto export through attending the major trade fairs, but also obviously to areas where the haircut is patent granted too.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Nicely timed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks.
The 2021 awards received more than double the amount of entries that we received in 2020, and a small army of shortlisting judges from Investing Women Angels and Barclays whittled that down to 23 semi-finalists. And from those, our brilliant finalists that you see today were selected. It feels appropriate to give a shout out to those other semi-finalists, as they were all incredible, and I know that the judges had a tough job choosing. They were in Cleantech and Climate, Anna Rachel Estrugu of the Octopus Club, and Elaine Ford of Electric Explorer, more about her later. In Fintech, Data Science and Security, we had Susan Brown of Zortrex, Samantha Campbell of Alchemy, and Monica Ohashi of Polydigitech. In MedTech and Science, we had Agnieszka Jancek of Renovus Biologics, Carolyn Lawrenson of TL Tech, and Shiti Rastogi Mangani of Breathe Happy. And finally, in Disruptive Innovation, Sarah Minty, MBE of Developing Experts, Sarah Morrison of Above Board Homes, and Anne Widdop of Hughes Management Services. An impressive roll call. And sorry you didn't make it this far, ladies, but if you're watching today, you were fabulous. Next up, are you ready?
Sorry, Rebecca.
That's fine.
Judges, make sure that you do write your scores in Rebecca's sheet and not Tess's. There we go. Rebecca,
can you see my screens?
We can indeed, yes.
Great. And it's in presenter mode rather than great. Okay. Xgenics. Introducing molecular X factor. Do you, like me, suffer from hay fever or those screen-induced migraines? If so, you're probably reaching for fantastic medicines such as loratadine, aka Claritin. These pharmaceuticals certainly have molecular X factor. They have what scientists call CX bonds. And these give them those bioactivities, give them their medical properties. In fact, over 20% of pharmaceuticals have this molecular X factor. But how is that X factor introduced? How are those CX bonds formed? Well, it's introduced using filthy 100-year-old chemistries, which are costly, use dangerous reagents, are bad for the environment, and horribly wasteful. Conversely, we have a really disruptive solution. Taking cheap, readily available salt and natural enzymes, we can use this technology to selectively install molecular X into medicines. Hi, I'm Rebecca Goss, and I'm founder and CEO of Xgenics. So we patented this technology in 2019, and then we published some of the components. And in response to those publications, we were contacted by a large number of blue chip pharmaceutical companies from around the globe who were excited by this technology. Our beachhead market is drugs entering clinical trials. The processes for making them is most readily disrupted. We're looking at the very lowest hanging fruits, if you like, and we're currently working toward negotiated contracts internationally. Here's my awesome team. Let me introduce you to a few members. On the left-hand side, we have Dr. Guy Carter. He is previous head of chemical technologies at Wyeth. Another person I want to introduce you to is Dr. Sanil Sharma, co-founder, Royal Society of Edinburgh Enterprise Fellow, and an expert at CX bond introduction. Along that bottom row, we have over 25 years of expertise in spin out and also expertise in the science. So we're currently funded to the tune of almost 1 million, and we have an exciting, proven and patented technology that we're working in partnership to deliver solutions whilst maintaining control of that technology.
Well done, Rebecca. Been thrown in at the last minute there. Judges, your questions for Rebecca.
Rebecca, question for me, and thanks very much for the presentation and for stepping in at short notice, very well handled.
Pleasure.
Yeah, indeed. So just it looks like you have quite a broad market there actually, given the component part across a variety of different pharmaceutical products. Where would you target and focus first?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the beachhead that we're particularly looking at is those most readily disrupted phase of drugs entering early phase clinical trials. The full process for making these isn't fully established, but once the industry is more happy with the displacement, then I'm hoping that we can move out to address that much broader market, and we're really excited about the opportunity there.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca.
So Rebecca, if I could just clarify, so what essentially you're doing is exchanging an old manufacturing compounding mechanism for a new one, which has the benefit of obviously more sustainable materials. Could I just check I've understood the underlying proposition correctly?
Absolutely, spot on. This methodology underpins the making of over 90% of all pharmaceuticals.
Okay, which I think you've just answered my second follow-up question, which is there any limit to the size of the market you're going after? But it sounds like it's a fundamental part of the manufacturing process across most, if not all, of the main drugs.
Absolutely, and we're just really focusing in first on those very lowest hanging fruits. Currently, the chemistry used for this is pretty disgusting. It's akin to World War I trench chemistry. So we're really keen to displace it with something that's much nicer to handle, much more cost effective, and much more sustainable.
Okay, thank you.
And traditionally, the industries like this need a lot of capital, right, to get off the ground. So what is your burn rate today?
So in the last 12 months, we've raised about just under 1 million in grant funding. We're now moving toward looking for securing those investment deals. Our burn rate is currently, with a team that size, looking at close to $500,000 per annum currently.
Okay, thank you.
And if I've got time for one more question, just explain the revenue model in the industry.
Okay, so the revenue is controlling, maintaining that IP, working hand in hand with partners to deliver those sustainable solutions whilst retaining control of the IP and the technology.
Thank you. Elizabeth was very kind to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for stepping in there. Well done. Tess, I'm going to come back to you and just see how you're getting on. We'll see if we can get your slides up while the judges are finishing their notes there. Take it away when you're ready.
Perfect, thank you. Have you heard my voice before? You might or might not recognize it. I'm Tess, and I'm a voiceover artist. I've lent my voice to lots of commercials, audiobooks, corporate explainers, and infomercials. This industry has gone through great changes in the last decade, and today I have a new business proposition that will really disrupt online casting. Introducing Voice Distillery. So we all hear voiceover artists every day. Every ad, explainer video, video game, and audiobook requires a skilled voiceover talent that really grabs our attention. So the size of the global voiceover market was $4.4 billion in 2015, and the market is growing despite COVID-19. So content creators advertise their jobs on online platforms like voices.com. Talent pay to audition by submitting audio samples. The content creator chooses the best audition, and the winning talent gets the job. So what could possibly go wrong? Well, unfortunately, the wide choice of talent comes at a price. When advertising on online platforms, content creators frequently receive hundreds and hundreds of auditions. So how many can they listen to before tearing out their hair? Well, it turns out not many. And so only a small fraction of auditions are considered. This frustrates everyone. The content creator will miss many excellent auditions, and the talent feels ignored. So how can we help both sides with this global issue? The solution? Machine learning. So we own a large collection of voiceover samples, tagged by industry experts. We're training neural networks on the most important voice descriptors in the industry. So based on the content creator's brief, auditions are ranked and shortlisted automatically. So only the top auditions need to be listened to. And the talent, well, they've been considered and they can learn from feedback. Our database and proprietary tagging procedure is an important asset, and we are in the process of patenting our technology. So we're currently funded by a Scottish Enterprise Smart Scotland Award and private investors. We project we will turn over 3 million in 5 years' time. So our projections are based on 20% commission for each voiceover job, moderate growth projections for our market, 6% market penetration in 5 years' time, and free auditions for voiceover talent, thus building trust in the community and having a large pool of talent to draw from. So the Voice Distillery comprises of a diverse team of 6 with decades of experience in our respective fields. 2 are academics in speech science, voice analysis, and therapy. 1 is a software engineer and AI and speech processing expert, and I'm an experienced voiceover artist, trained speech therapist, and business manager. Thank you for listening, and I welcome any questions.
Well done, Tess, within the 3 minutes, despite the technical hitches. Judges, your questions.
Perhaps if I kick off on this one. I think you said that it was driven by machine learning. Could you just help us understand that process a little bit? Are you picking characteristics that the industry reflects or effectively what the audiences are listening for? Or tell me a little bit about how you develop your approach there.
Yes, certainly. So when content creators post a job that they're looking for, they often write a brief, and the brief can be asking for a warm, sophisticated, funny, smooth, and they use all these voice descriptors to describe the type of voice that they want. And then what our machine learning will do is we're training the machine to pick up and understand more about these individual voices and these individual voice characteristics.
Interesting.
And Tess, would you see the clients being the recruitment firms themselves or the actual actors?
Both, actually, to be fair, both. So it'll be production companies. There are a lot of big companies now that do all of their content in-house.
Yeah.
So they'll be recruiting as well. Advertising agencies will be using us. And obviously the voiceover artists themselves can get feedback from us and can learn more about their voice and how to manipulate their voice particularly in a safe way.
Well done for keeping very calm during quite a difficult technical issue. So fantastic, and love the video. Question for you, what do you need to scale the business?
We need to get lots and lots of voice samples of the different voice descriptors, get them tagged by industry experts. And we're currently at the stage where we're testing 3 different voice descriptors that are being run through the machine, and we're testing that against human listeners to see whether or not we've got some sort of agreement. And from there we can scale up quite quickly.
And who are your biggest competitors in this space right now?
In this space, I would say voices.com probably are. There's about 5 big, what we call pay-to-play sites that would be our biggest competitors, but they don't have anything like this. They tend to stick very closely to gender, age, accent, but they don't go into the nitty-gritty of actual voice descriptors. We'll also be helping our content creators write really meaningful briefs, so that often I see a brief that will ask for a serious yet fun and outgoing voice. I mean, that's meaningless. So we'll be helping.
And can you? Oh, I see Elizabeth popped up. I've got. Okay.
Time's up. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, and yes, well done, Tess, for staying calm in the face of that. And also, Rebecca, I'd just like to reassure you, you were fabulous, but the judges will take into account that you were stepping in at the last minute when they're scoring you, I'm sure. So we've heard from 6 brilliant finalists in 2 categories. And before we go on to the next 2 categories, we're going to take a very short break. This will allow everyone, but especially our judges, to take a 5-minute breather. So feel free to step away from your computer, stretch your legs, do some star jumps, or go and make a cuppa. Just don't fill the kettle up too far, or it'll take too long to boil. See you all at 11:05. Thank you. And with that, welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all feeling suitably refreshed and ready to watch our next 6 finalists pitch. We're moving on to the fintech, data science and cybersecurity category now. And up first, it's Sarah Werner of Husmus.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Mic working?
Loud and clear. Do you have slides?
No.
Perfect. Go for it.
Hello. I'm Sarah Werner, the co-founder and CEO of Husmus. Husmus is a smart assistant that offers landlords and tenants behavior-based rental insurance. In the US and Europe, landlords provide over 230 million rental homes. However, their demographics and expectations are changing. Millennials and Gen Z are the fastest growing segment, and within 5 years, they'll make up 41%. This new breed of landlords are socially conscious, but still crave convenience and lifestyle security. Unfortunately, renting is a financial risk that rests on finding low-risk tenants. Landlords use tenant referencing and deposits to try and mitigate the risks, but both of these don't always do a good job of protecting rental income. And they have the unfortunate side effect of driving up housing inaccessibility and costs for tenants. The industry is looking at the wrong metrics, but Husmus has the answers. In 3 simple steps, we provide landlords and tenants with a fast and convenient way to reduce the cost of renting. First, Husmus helps landlords to identify low-risk tenants. Then we vouch for these tenants and offer them insurance that replaces their cash deposits and covers them for any property damage or unpaid rent. Third, we automate handling claims and remedial actions. Our uniqueness comes from our proprietary algorithm, which uses a combination of behavioral economics and predictive modeling to assess risk in real time with a 99.8% accuracy, allowing us to instantly offer and price coverage in a way that rewards positive behavior with lower premiums. As a result, Christmas all but removes the financial repercussions of negative tenant behavior from landlords, eliminating the leading cause of housing inaccessibility. We make money from tenant premiums, as well as landlord and trade subscriptions. Our go-to-market strategy is built on content marketing and partnerships. And since September 2020, Christmas has enabled over 900 tenancies. Our users love us and rate us 9 out of 10. Our goal is to grow to 5 million users in the next 5 years by expanding our product range to cover both landlord and tenant insurance needs, including emergency repairs and smart devices that predict appliance damage. Our team has over 10 years of experience in landlording, machine learning, and software development, respectively. And we're supported by advisors from the property, insurance, and SaaS industries. We are raising £350,000 for our first external investment round. This will allow us to support a full feature launch, hire in marketing skills, patent protect our product, and grow our base by 5,000 users. A third of the world rent their homes. Join us in making the system fairer and less financially risky for everyone involved. Thank you so much for your time.
I was just about to ring.
Beat the clock.
Your questions, judges.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Super interesting, and your deck is great as well. I've got a question. Could you just explain exactly what you define as a low risk tenant? And second, actually, I'll let you answer that one first. Thank you.
Great. So low risk to a landlord, we base that based on landlord definition, which is ultimately, it comes down to two things. Will this person pay rent, and will this person damage my property? And that's ultimately the only things that we base this on. This allows us to eliminate things like CCJs, which prevent some tenants from accessing housing.
And how do you know if they're more likely to damage a property or not?
So we crowdsource information from landlords, and we use open banking to get users' transactions, banking transactions from which we can see and assess both their rent payments history and their affordability.
That's great. Perhaps if I take the next question. You mentioned you've already landed 900 tenancies. Just explain to me how you were able to source those and a little bit more on the client feedback.
So that's a great question. So we are using referrals at the moment. So we're doing a lot of referrals from, we've partnered with the UK's largest inventory provider, and they give us a lot of referrals. Second to that, we hold a lot of events and webinars, and that allows us to get people organically and grow our base from there. We're focusing a lot on inbound marketing tactics because our business, although landlords are businesses, a lot of them make purchase decisions like consumers.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and just a final one from me. Can you just talk a little bit about your competitive landscape?
Indeed. So the property space is actually quite busy. However, as I've mentioned before, our uniqueness here is that we are providing behavior-based insurance. So a lot of the people in the industry, practically the entire industry at the moment, are doing things like tenant referencing as the past way of assessing tenants. However, that is not actually accurate. And doing things that the way that Christmas does actually gives us that competitive advantage to be able to assess that risk in real time. And so that is one of the leading differences. Additionally, our automated claims allow us to provide convenience to our users, which is ultimately what our target audience, which is like the millennial and Gen Z landlord and tenants, really want from their fintech devices. Always beating the clock.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. And apologies, because I think I have been pronouncing your surname incorrectly.
It's fine. Everybody does, but yes, it's Sarah Vernier.
Vernier.
Yes.
I will try and get that right. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that in some respects, it doesn't feel like a year since we last hosted the AccelerateHER Awards finals, but in other respects, it feels like a lifetime. This time last year, we were proud to go ahead with the finals, as Jackie said, switching them from a face-to-face event in a matter of days. We grappled with technology that is now second nature to us, and we held our breath and crossed our fingers for the duration of the finals in the hope that the tech didn't let us down. Thankfully, it didn't, and our 12 amazing finalists rose to the occasion. Now, I do seem to remember saying at the end of those finals that we would hopefully be back together in the same room for the 2021 finals. Well, technically, I'm right. I am in the same room. I don't know about you. The past year has been full of opportunities and challenges, and after our next finalist pitches, I'll tell you what last year's finalists have been up to, as well as AccelerateHER. Next up, we have, though, Lynn Darcy-Quigley of Know It.
Hi, morning.
Good morning, Lynn. Do you have slides to share?
I don't have, no, just me.
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, good morning, judges. I'm Lynn Darcy-Quigley. I'm the CEO and founder of Glasgow-based credit management platform called Know It. I have been in the credit management industry for over 25 years, and 14 of those years I have run a successful credit agency. So harnessing that experience, we started Know It. You're asking what's the problem we're trying to solve? £100,000 order shipped, no credit check, no director search, no address check, and only when the credit team called to ask for payment did they find out they'd lost their money. The SMEs lost 5.8 billion in the last 3 years. So there has never been a more critical time to have a great credit insight. Know It is the first of its kind SaaS platform, and we focus on automating the credit control process all in the one space. What does that mean? Traditionally, a credit controller would use 4, 5, 6 different systems to get the wrong answer. So we are bringing Know It into the one platform. We use 3 key basic principles. We like to call them the 3 C's. It's check it, chase it, and collect it. For launch, we will focus on the SME accountancy marketplace. Know It currently has integrations with Xero, Sage, Free Agent, and QuickBooks. We are offering all of those users a 30-day free trial. And if Know It obtains a 0.01% of the market share at $49.99 a month, we will turn over 1 million in our first year. Know It is very unique. However, we do have a few competitors in the space, but they don't all offer the all-in-one platform solution that we're offering. Know It has obtained its IP for the UK, where there's 2 million users, Canada, 1.2 million users, and New Zealand, 400,000 users. And we're currently trying to get Australia with 1 million users, and we're working hard on that. Again, our route to market in these countries where they have a very strong foothold would be through the accountancy app marketplace. I have tried really hard over the last year or so to bring a really strong team. Our CRO has 20 years global banking and investment experience. Our CCO is 20 years in data and advanced marketing. We have a 4-strong dev team, including product and UX, and 3 strong marketeers focusing in social, PR, SEO, and brand. And since my last pitch, we've hired our first QA testing engineer, hoping to start with us at the end of the month. And we're currently interviewing for a CTO, and we have got 2 fantastic new board members on the advisory board. To date, the platform has been self-funded, and I would like to trade and invest as we go. However, if we do get Accelerate, we would be looking for 150,000 to support our international growth quicker. So to summarise, we don't just have a £100,000 problem. SMEs are losing 5.8 billion in the last 3 years, and with Deloitte predicting in the next quarter it will rise by 60%. It's never been more critical. Thank you very much for your time, and any questions.
Thank you, Lynn. Judges?
Yeah, one for me. Thanks, Lynn. Really interesting. I hadn't actually realised the scale of the problem. My goodness. So with that in mind, what are your marketing plans to kind of reach your addressable market?
Yeah, well, everything for us just now will be a digital acquisition. We have 4 different ways to market just now. So we have through the accountancy app marketplace, where they're already accountancy users and they use these apps. that we have integrations for. We have a broker funnel, so we will deal with brokers that would deal with credit insurance and debt recovery and litigation. We also have the accountancy funnel where we would deal with all the accountants who would bounce it out to, in essence, all their clients. And then we have the end user who would want to be a credit controller and using a system that can take them from cradle to grave and have an overall insight of their customer.
Okay, very comprehensive, thank you.
Thank you so much. With your integration with the accountancy platform, Xero, etc., how far along are you with that? And will they be taking a fee from you if you're...
Yeah, okay, no fee. We are already been accepted about a month ago with Xero, so we're currently sitting on their marketplace. We just haven't switched it on. Everything else has been tested. We're at beta testing and we're hoping for a soft launch in the week commencing the 19th of April. So, and all our apps are working, our integrations are tested and proven, so we're good to go.
Can I just ask a question on the first of your 3 C's, so the check it bit? Could you just explain a bit more about the nature of that service and what you're offering back to the client?
Yes, so we've partnered with Graydon, who are one of the biggest credit rating agencies in the world. They will provide a credit risk oversight, so you will go in and you will credit check your customer. You will look at unsecured creditors to see if there's anything we don't know. You'll check the London and Edinburgh Gazette, and you'll also check Companies House. We have API feeds in from all of them coming into the system. So you'll be able to check your customer, what they've been up to, what they're buying, what their credit worthiness is, and are they a good risk to do business with?
And as we've got 2 more minutes or a few seconds, you mentioned 2 other C's. Your system provides the full service, so go to the other end of the chain. You also help collect?
Yes, yeah. So we've got a debt recovery partner, and if we need pre-litigation services, then we have that to drop into the collected side. We also have an existing client base that's sitting in collect, waiting to be pushed up the tunnel into chase and check also. So we have a ready-made customer base.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well
Thanks
done.
very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, as we announced our 4 winners last year, COVID-19 was throwing the world into turmoil. But watching the AccelerateHER finalists, winners and semi-finalists from 2020 throughout this chaotic year has been a lesson in resilience, innovation and good humour. Jackie and I have had a monthly catch-up with last year's finalists, and aside from being impressed by their resilience, I've been proud to watch how they've supported each other and us through a tough year. Now, the first rule of finalist catch-up is that we don't talk about finalist catch-up, but I can tell you that those conversations have covered many topics, from grant applications to creating a board, to drinking Prosecco and dreaming of the international market building missions when we finally get to travel again. And now to finish off the fintech category, we have Beth Michael from Striva.
Hello.
Do you have slides?
No, I do not.
Excellent, then just take it away.
Second, my computer's been a bit funny. Okay, cool. Good morning, everyone. I'm Beth Michael, a co-founder of Striva, an award-winning fintech startup on a mission to automate their clunky manual tasks that are linked to payments, and all through the use of our patent-pending technology. Our initial solution, SwiftAid, was developed in 2018 in collaboration with the University of Surrey and co-funded by Innovate UK. SwiftAid is a SaaS API solution that automates the entire gift aid process for UK charities and individuals. Charities miss out on over £500 million in unclaimed gift aid every single year, and there are nearly 200,000 charities in the UK, and unfortunately around 60% of them don't benefit from gift aid, mainly due to the admin burden. SwiftAid was the first solution recognised by HMRC to automate gift aid on contactless donations, and is now facilitating gift aid across multiple methods of donation. Our route to market is through fundraising providers, which enables us to scale massively. We charge 5% of gift aid claimed. We have 9 active partners with thousands of charity clients and with weekly inbound interest. And we are thrilled to be launching with a major fundraising platform in Q2 this year. There is no other solution that exists that automates gift aid across multiple charities and donation methods with a single authorization. And we do this by leveraging the unique transaction information within each payment and combine that with a new donor intermediary legislation. Our unique innovative methods can be found in an academic paper which is published in the journal Formal Aspects of Computing. No one else can do this, and this is proven as we are leading technically on an industry-wide project called the Future of Gift Aid, and that is with the biggest names across the charity industry. We recently won a second Innovate UK grant, and that's to expand on the previous work, which looks to solve even bigger UK VAT and tax challenges. And once established, we aim to replicate the solution across 165 other tax authorities globally. Our approach to data privacy solves current issues linked to scalability and existing barriers to adoption. And we definitely have the right team, because with only 7 of us, we've turned an idea into a solution which is now scaling and solving a tax inefficiency for a whole industry. And we also have 3 highly experienced non-exec directors. Our solutions are in high demand, and in order to deliver, we need to grow the team, and that's especially around engineering and commercialization. To date, we have secured a total £1 million in equity fundraising through angels and friends and family, and aim to kick off a seed raise for £1 million in May. We have a clear financial plan which is forecasted against the traction we have gained. And we're also very proud to be part of the latest cohorts of Startup Grind Tech Nation Scale-Up Programme, and I've just completed the Global Techstars Female Founders First Programme, and also reached the final of AccelerateHER, which is very impressive. Thank you, and I welcome any questions.
Oh, very impressive indeed, Beth. I didn't even
Very impressive.
Questions.
Beth, thank you. That was really interesting. You talked about the global opportunity. I imagine there to be quite a lot of complexity as you move into different countries and the tax rules and all of that good stuff. How would you propose attacking those markets?
So in regards to Swift Aid, the gift aid is only based in the UK, but internationally there's donor incentives. So when you, with charitable giving, you get tax relief if you're back from your donations that you give to charity. Because we give a full breakdown statement of all donations that are made across the year, they can literally just use that and supply that evidence against their tax, which is it's just a receipt which they need to receive now. So there's no complexities around the Swift Aid proposition. On the VAT, the wider tax challenges, we're working with the UK government first and establishing ourselves here, and then we'll work with the top, the big players like the leading banks and consultancy tax firms to work across and take it internationally.
That makes sense, thank you.
Hi Beth. Question for me, a little bit around your finances. So are you revenue generating yet? And if not, when do you expect to be?
We are generating revenue now, yes.
And so what is your current burn rate, and why are you looking for additional funding?
Yeah, so our current burn rate is £40,000 a month. We're basically looking to raise £1 million seed raising just to accelerate our into other markets, because with the Future of Gift Aid we're working on a number of work streams which works with a number of donation methods, providers, and there's edge cases and pain points, so there's a lot of exploration that goes into that, so that would just help us accelerate into the different areas with getting in more team.
Thank you.
Great. Hi Beth. How quickly can a new partner of yours integrate with your proposition? What's that time lag in terms of the
about a week. It's about a week. It's just an API integration. It's light touch.
Very good. Okay.
It looks like you've answered all the judges' questions.
Hopefully I answered them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that in the backdrop of a global pandemic, that our finalists from last year may have struggled to raise funds, but that was not the case, as Jackie alluded to at the start. They've secured grant funding. For example, around this time last year, the government announced a COVID fast response grant, and they received 20,000 applications for that. and only 4% of those applications were successful. But in that 4%, I'm delighted to say that 1/3 of our AccelerateHER 2020 finalists were in there. So if my maths are correct, being an AccelerateHER finalist meant you were 8 times more likely to be successful than other applicants. They've also secured investment, which is testament to the quality of the businesses and their ability to adapt to circumstances and remain relevant in a fast-changing world. As Jackie mentioned, a number of our finalists were approached by investors last year after seeing them on YouTube at the finals. So hopefully there are people watching right now who will be interested in this year's finalists. And again, to our audience watching, please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A. We're moving on to our last category now, MedTech and Science. And first up for that category is Ishani Malhotra of Carcinotech. Hi, Ishani.
Hi.
Do you have slides?
Yes, just one holding slide. So I'm just gonna.
I'll let you get that up on the screen before I start my timer.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, just. Sorry, it's being a bit slow.
That's okay. Go for it.
The WHO estimates the total number of cancer cases to reach 22 million by 2030. To put that into context, that's the entire population of Australia. The biggest problem in the cancer research industry today is that 85% of drugs at clinical trials fail to reach the market. The major reason for this failure is that current solutions and animal models do not provide good insight into human cancer systems, which leads to inaccurate, expensive, outdated, and ethically contentious drug discovery targets and solutions. So we're here to solve that problem. I'm Ishani, the founder and CEO of Carcinotech. We manufacture 3D bioprinted devices, which mimic cancer environments using patient-specific cells for drug testing, drug discovery, preclinical trials, and personalized medicine testing. We grew our team from 2 to 7 in the past 6 months, with over 30 years experience in oncology research. Our global target market is over 30 billion, with an ambition to become an industry standard for oncology drug testing. We are quite close to commercialization and have some beta testing partners that are looking to adopt our technology in their drug discovery projects. We're looking to commercialize, raise investment for scaling up, expand, and commercialization. We're also looking for commercial partners to be able to deliver more relevant drug testing solutions at the start before the drug goes into clinical trials. Our current focus areas are brain tumor, breast cancer, and lung cancer, with an ambition to then move on to other cancers in the near future. The vision of Carcinotech is to be at the forefront of cancer drug testing and provide personalized testing to each individual suffering from cancer to better their chance of treatment and survival. And we need your help to succeed. Thank you.
Oh, you took me aback there, Ishani. Well under 3 minutes. Well done. Judges, a little bit extra time for questions here.
That's great. So perhaps if I kick off. So could you just explain a little bit further, who are your target commercial partners and what's your sales pitch to them in terms of why you versus alternatives in the market?
So our target commercial partners would be pharma companies and CROs, bigger pharma companies such as GSK, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, etc., that are all working with oncology drug testing, all the way from drug discovery to preclinical trials. And the reason why we're better than our competitors is because of, firstly, our automated manufacturing technology. Bioprinting takes very little time. We can print one model in less than 5 minutes. And the accuracy with the kind of technology that we have allows us to have the exact same print for every single well, which is something that our competitors can't achieve at the moment. And along with that, having the microenvironment, which is closest to the human system, is something that our competitors are not offering at the moment. So, so that's why we are definitely much better in comparison to these.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
So question for me, just around funding requirements, really. So in terms of where you are and your future plans over the next 12 to 18 months, you know, what funding requirements do you have in your line of sight?
So we raised some investment last year to do our proof of concept and validation studies, and now we're very, very close to commercialization with one of our models ready to be commercialized. We're looking to raise 1 million this year. In fact, in the next 6 months, to be able to scale up and expand. And then we're again in the future have another investment plan for then targeting international markets as well.
Can you talk a little bit about your barriers to scale? So what do you think they are today, and what do you think you need to overcome them?
I would say one of the biggest barriers is the team expansion. We need a bigger team to be able to have bigger projects, you know, that pharma companies would essentially be able to provide to us. So that's one of the barriers. And the second is funding because of that team expansion. We would also require some kind of regulatory approvals, but that's not too much of a barrier because regulatory approvals for this kind of a product is very simple and straightforward. So that wouldn't take us too much time. But I would say the biggest would be funding, definitely. If you're able to raise investment, then we can scale up very quickly.
And have you been affected by the pandemic? And do you find that the testing is not happening or the regulatory approvals are not getting through fast enough?
We've actually had responses from MHRA relatively quickly, I would say, even though it takes a month for them to get back to us, but we've had some responses relatively quickly. And we are actually starting with our first set of the regulatory process this month. So so we're already on the pathway to be able to go ahead with that. But definitely, we would, I would say in the next 6 months, we should have everything in place for regulatory approvals.
Brilliant. Well done. Thank you, Ishani.
Thank you.
I just want to pause a wee minute and let what I said just before Ishani pitched sink in. Our 12 finalists from the 2020 AccelerateHER Awards have between them raised over 2.3 million in the past year in the midst of a global pandemic. And I know they've got more in the pipeline. What an amazing bunch of ladies. And of course, in addition to raising funds, they've been winning other awards too. And there's too many to list here, but I do want to highlight the Women in Innovation Awards, the winners of which were announced earlier this month on International Women's Day. Of the 40 winners throughout the UK, 2 of them, Lisa Pape of Walk With Path and Jacqueline Morrison of Sadico, were finalists in the AccelerateHER Awards last year. And one, Catherine Patterson of So2 Company, is a finalist this year. I think I can see a trend forming. AccelerateHER finalists do it better. And talking of doing it better, next up we have Kate Cameron of Cytochroma.
Hi.
Hi Kate, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just going to share some slides if that's okay.
Brilliant.
Here we go.
There we go.
All good?
Mode, we can see you. Take it away.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kate Cameron, CEO of Cytochroma. I have over a decade of experience in using stem cells to model human biology, a PhD from Edinburgh University, and a passion to commercialize what I believe is groundbreaking research. Drug development is expensive, time-consuming, and highly inefficient, with over 90% of drugs failing during clinical trials. This is because current testing cannot predict how they will react in a global population. This is a problem that Cytochroma solves by supplying a source of stem cell-derived mini livers and an innovative test to predict toxicity. With a global aging and increasingly unhealthy population, new medicines are desperately needed to combat obesity, diabetes, and fatty liver disease. Our mini livers can model a range of conditions, but also the world's highly diverse population. We use state-of-the-art equipment to manufacture thousands of mini livers simultaneously, and our testing uses machine learning to become smarter over time. Our combination of mini livers and testing provides a flexible, scalable, and ethical solution for a global market. The market is large and growing rapidly. Cytochroma is targeting the fastest growing segment, which is liver, bringing our specific addressable market to over $6.4 billion. Our key territories include Europe, North America, and Asia. Due to our ethical stem cell library, we can make any tissue healthy or diseased, and then use these to screen for new drugs. This means we can generate significant revenue. We have built a talented, diverse team, an experienced chair, and a team of postdoctoral scientists with serious skills. Our next appointment will be a commercial manager. We're currently based at Roslin Innovation Centre, and over the past 4 years, we've built a strong, protected IP portfolio. We are seeking £1.25 million to secure large-scale customers, build new models, generate significant revenue, and build value. We have projected realistic and achievable sales of 4.9 million within the next 5 years, with significant profit margins. We plan to run multiple contracts for new drug discovery and test for toxicity, and then ultimately exit to a large known pharmaceutical company or CRO. Our combination of mini livers and testing provides a flexible, scalable, and ethical solution to a global market seeking to eliminate animal testing by 2035. Help us build the next multi-million-dollar life sciences company in Scotland and make drug and vaccine development faster, safer, and cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Well within the 3 minutes as well. Judges, questions?
Great. I'll kick off. Thank you. Sorry, the screen was flickering. So just to confirm, all of your development work is done, and you are now, just to confirm, actually in and working with clients already, or you're just about to sort of push on and really drive those sales?
We're actually working with clients already now. We've had a couple of small contracts this year, so that's been really good to get going. And now we're in discussions with large pharmaceutical companies to test compound libraries and validate our models with them right now.
And so just to, if I may just press on that point for a minute. So you've done an initial amount of work that's got you as a team comfortable, but really it's then a sort of a mutual cooperative validation process with potential clients. They then get comfortable, they can then push on. Is that broadly how your model will look and scale?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, very good.
And Kate, I know you've been involved with Investing in Women for a while now. What would be the benefit of winning the award today?
Oh, it would be a huge benefit to win. I made it to the finals 2 years ago and just missed out, and I saw how much it accelerated the other finalists getting to go on the trade missions, raising the profile. Being approached by more investors is always a bonus. And yeah, to help us secure our funding, I think that would be the biggest goal. And I think this would really help with that.
Great, thank you.
Can you talk to us a little bit about your financials? So where are you today? When do you expect to be revenue generating, etc.?
Sure, yeah. So we raised just under $500,000 to date in grant-based funding. So we're now looking for investment, and we're approaching both private and corporate investors, and we're seeing quite a lot of interest from corporate, and we've got some investors backing us already. We're just looking to raise up the final 1.25, and that can really help us get going. And we're revenue generating at the moment, but not enough to cover our cash burn. So.
And when do you expect to? Of course. And when do you expect to be able to break even with that investment?
With that investment, we expect to break even within 3 years, and then we'll be profit generating after that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And if we have 20 more seconds, just briefly your revenue model. How do you actually generate the revenue?
Yeah, so the clients will send us their samples, we'll test them, and then we'll share the data with them. It's a bespoke testing service, so it'll be the costing will be built per client and per study.
Understood. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'm oh sorry, Elizabeth is on.
I was just about to say, I think Ben can see my stopwatch because he was bang on with the 20 seconds there. Well done, Kate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
COVID-19 and our whirlwind digital transformation this time last year has had a significant impact on AccelerateHER too. And I have to say, it's been really positive. Going digital has allowed us to reach more female founders with more events. We've had over 500 participants taking part in 4 boot camps, 19 workshops, and countless mentoring sessions. The AccelerateHER network has grown to over 5,000 female founders and partners who share a passion to accelerate the growth, visibility, and backing of talented female founders like these ones that you see today. And last week, we ran our first virtual mission with 15 founders being introduced to key contacts in Germany and the DACH region. We can't wait to be back to some face-to-face events, but we will always have a digital offering going forward because it's so accessible for everyone. And now finally, last but definitely not least, and after waiting for over an hour and a half, very patiently, we have Jude Sims from MyGo Forward.
Hi there.
Hi Jude. Any slides from you?
No, just me and Oscar
Skeleton.
in the background, obviously.
Go for it.
Hi, my name is Jude Sims. I'm co-founder of MyGo Forward with my colleague David Powney, and my background is as a neurophysiotherapist. Within our team, we also have Dr. Marcus Paklepa, who is a bioengineering professor at Dundee University, and we've outsourced engineering to 2 separate engineering firms, market research to Aberdeen University, and quality and regulations to a consultancy firm. Dave and I work together on a daily basis here in the clinic, which is where we are today, and we see a wide variety of clients with neurological disabilities, including stroke, head injury, Parkinson's disease, MS, and spinal cord injury. In the UK alone, there are around 2.5 million people that are living with a neurological disability, and a further 50,000 with spinal cord injury. We estimate around 80% of that population will struggle with the basic things of walking and moving. Our competitors on the market are out there, and frustratingly, the technology that's there has problems. The main problems are, firstly, it is unaffordable. The systems come in at around £1,500 to £6,000, and that is really out with the affordability of the majority of the clients who would actually benefit from them. The second problem is wearability. The systems are not particularly wearable or user-friendly. And the third thing is that they will only stimulate one muscle. And as you can imagine, every step we take, we have to use multiple muscles just to move. So our solution is called the MyGo. The MyGo is basically, on the outside, a normal pair of sports leggings. They look a bit like this. But on the inside, they have printed flexible circuits. The MyGo system has a control panel built in, and the control panel is capable of stimulating multiple muscles in sequence to allow the user to walk and move. It's triggered by a gyroscope, accelerometer, and a pressure switch, and it's currently patent pending. We're looking at the system to come in around about the £600 to £800 mark. Our funding to date has been through grant funding. We were the wildcard Scottish Edge winners last year, and we're currently in the Scottish Enterprise Unlocking Ambition cohort. We've also secured funding from Highlands and Islands Enterprise. This funding has taken us through the process of developing our prototype, which we now are in the stage of doing some pilot studies, and the results are looking favourable. Our route to market is always going to be clinician-based. The system will need clinical setup, and that's why we're going to start in the UK, because we have a robust clinical network in the UK. Then we're going to scale up to Europe and then the North American markets. We're looking to raise around £1 million in seed funding, which will take us through the regulatory process, our full clinical trials, and get the product market ready. Just one example how the MyGo could work is a client that we have. Is that us?
I know it's a quick 3 minutes, isn't it, Jude?
That's okay.
Judges, questions?
Hi, Jude. That sounds incredible. Absolutely amazing. And I didn't even know that there were products on the market that does this. Are you working with any insurance companies to work out if this can be paid for on insurance?
We're looking at the models with the existing products that are on the market, and yes, the products on the market can be paid for with insurance companies. So we look like that will be a route that we'll go with this product as well.
And would this be recognised by the NHS as a treatment?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to get into. So we're looking at the NHS Market Ready scheme. In order to get through that scheme and get through to the NHS, the device has to basically conform through the clinical trials. The clinical trials have to be very robust and the evidence has to be really excellent. So we have to achieve the SIGN and the NICE guidelines for it to be accepted by the NHS. So we're looking at the product really not just going through the NHS route, but actually accessing it direct to the people who want to be able to use it.
Jude, thanks very much for that. Again, another amazing presentation. So just sticking with this, I mean, the cost we spoke about, £600, I think it was. In terms of the market within the NHS, do you think that would be affordable, or do you have plans to try and drive that cost point down further, recognising it's significantly cheaper than others already?
So we based the cost of the product on market research with our existing client base, because that's where we come from. That's where the idea arose, was the people that we work with. So the cost was based really on what they felt was an affordable amount for that product. So we would hope that if anything, it will go up, if anything, it will come down, because the whole driver for this product was for us to provide a good product that was affordable, did the job better, and really achieve things that patients really needed to do. There's nothing more frustrating than having something that works and somebody not being able to afford it.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Yeah.
I've understood, obviously, the stage of the process that you're at. So you're thinking about the route through to approval. Having said that, you've been testing your product versus the alternatives. What's the client and clinician feedback that you've been having on those tests as you've been going through the process?
So the products that we have on the market at the moment only stimulate one muscle, and our one stimulates multiple muscles. So in essence, you can get a spinal cord injured patient to stand independently and step. That's phenomenal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well done, Jude, and well done to all of you. You've now heard from all of our finalists, and our poor judges are now being sent away to a separate Zoom room to discuss their scores and decide on the winner for each category. I don't envy you the job, judges, but I'm sure you'll do an excellent job of that. They'll be ably assisted by our angel in the room, who is Rona Campbell from the Board of Investing Women Angels. And she'll make sure there's no fights, and she'll also make sure that they're back here by 12:20 to tell us who the winners are. In the meantime, we're going to take a very short comfort break. We'll be back here at 11:55 to hear from the Rising Star, followed by a very interesting conversation with three very interesting ladies. See you all at 11:55. Well, welcome back, folks. Hopefully the judges are all settled down into their room and not having too hard a job choosing the winners. Now, over the past 3 years, our judges have selected one of the semi-finalists to be a rising star. This is a founder who shows amazing potential, is maybe just a little bit too early stage to make the finals just yet. In 2019, that rising star was Dr. Carla Brown of Game Doctor. In 2020, it was Monica Elhashi of Polydigitech. And this year, it's Elaine Ford of Electric Explorer. It's my great pleasure to give Elaine the opportunity to tell you about her business now, without the pressure of being judged. However, you are still welcome to type questions into the Q&A box for her. And on that note, I noticed there is a question for all the finalists in there. So finalists, make sure you hop on and answer that. But in the meantime, here is Elaine.
Hi there.
Hi Elaine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
I'll
Have you
just
got slides, or are you just...
No slides.
Go for it.
Hi, I'm Elaine, presenting Electric Explorer. I'm super passionate about adventure, exploration and protection of the natural world. I've been working in environmental protection for 8 years, and I know that we can tackle the climate crisis within this generation. For the past few years, I've worked in a VR nature startup and raised finance for VR cinemas and productions. I worked to develop a relationship with the Jane Goodall Institute to manage biodiversity. I set up Electric Explorer to be part of the solution towards a low carbon economy. Transport causes just over 1/4 of all UK greenhouse gas emissions, driving climate change. EVs clearly have a vital role to play in reducing emissions. However, fear of running out of car battery before reaching destination is one of the biggest barriers to transition to EV. We minimise range anxiety by providing all the information for a trip needed in one place. This means less time planning and no time worrying about whether you'll reach your destination. Electric Explorer is a new app and website being developed for EV drivers who love to explore and are conscious of their carbon footprint. People like us who want to be part of the solution without being limited in how they can explore nature. We're building an EV-friendly eco-travel marketplace where customers come to us to book high-adventure, low-impact trips. As we develop, our customers will also be able to create and share their own EV routes. There's currently over 370,000 EV and hybrid users in the UK. Our target customer is adventurous, early adopter, eco-conscious, domestic traveller, perfect for the staycation market. Electric is focused on the e-car market. However, there's increasing interest from e-bike and e-motorbike communities. USA is a major opportunity to plan EV road trips. We also have interest from European airlines. Our core IP is our integrated EV tourism service, geospatial database, and community. We build the website and app and provide maps of our integrated data for free. We have a commission-based model for accommodation and activity bookings. We're developing sponsorship opportunities with EV manufacturers, EV kit, and outdoor specialists. We're also developing corporate packages. Electric Explorer will donate a percentage of profits back to nature restoration projects. When travel restrictions lift, we'll launch our MVP. We're building supplier relationships to get customers better deals, driving traffic to the website. We're already tapping into enthusiastic EV communities. We will advertise the trips through EV shops and outdoor adventure groups. We're early stage, and Electric Explorer is currently driven by me. We're hosted by Ordnance Survey GeoVation Business Accelerator Programme in partnership with Registers of Scotland. I've partnered with companies such as space intelligence organisations such as Travel Tech Scotland, Travel Massive, who have been providing in-kind support. Scotland's 2050 group has just contributed website development costs and worked with mapping specialist GeoGeo Limited. Technology is currently my major gap, and it's needed to further develop the website and app. GeoVation tech team could help build in return for equity, but investment may be a better option. Thanks for listening, and happy to take any questions in the chat. And good luck to all the finalists.
Thank you, Elaine. That was fabulous. I wasn't going to use the bell on you, but I wouldn't have had to anyway. So well done. And hopefully the folks watching can understand why you're a rising star. And we'll look forward to seeing your entry next year in the awards. The Rising Star is sponsored by two companies. Aberdeen Considine are providing legal support for Elaine over the next year, and I'll say a few more words about them in a minute. And Lisa Thompson from Purpose HR is here just now, just to say a few words. They're going to provide some HR support for you. Lisa, welcome. You need to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Lovely to have you here.
Yeah, great to be here. Lovely to see you again, Elaine. Hi, well done. Yeah, so just to say a couple of words about Purpose HR and why we wanted to support the awards. So thanks for the chance. We're passionate at Purpose HR about promoting the gender balance agenda. We work with entrepreneurial startup and scale-up businesses to help them develop inclusive, diverse and purpose-driven workplaces and cultures, and supporting more women to set up and succeed in business is essential for sustained economic growth, and it's also exciting that we're seeing such a strong community of female entrepreneurs developing. It's something I've personally benefited from greatly with the entrepreneurial networks and support that there is in Scotland, and I'm a very passionate promoter and long-standing champion myself of women in business. I'm an ambassador for Women's Enterprise Scotland, so I was absolutely excited to get the chance to support the Invest in Women Awards and community, because you do so much great work driving innovation, driving diversity and equality in business, which is very much aligned with our own ethos and purpose. And having had the chance to meet Elaine already and chat with her, absolutely delighted to have sponsored this award. Well deserved, and really excited about supporting you on your growth journey, Elaine. And I also just want to say a huge congratulations to everyone that's pitched today. The ones that I've had the chance to see, fantastic. Very hard for the judges. I'm glad I'm not one. And well done to the team for the great event you've arranged. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Lovely to have you on board as a supporter of AccelerateHER. Unfortunately, nobody from Aberdeen Considine could be here today. They're all super busy, but they did ask me to pass on their congratulations to you once again. They're looking forward to working with you. Aberdeen Considine have been great supporters of AccelerateHER away in the background for many, many years. And as I say, have sponsored this particular award since its inception. So thank you very much to Aberdeen Considine. And thank you, Elaine, for taking the time to join us today. Well done. So next up, we're going to have a fireside chat, or should that be a Zoom side chat? Anyway, I'm delighted to be joined by Jackie Waring, CEO and founder of AccelerateHER and Investing Women Angels, Evelyn Simpson, business coach, Investing Women Angels board member and investor, and Lisa McDonald, marketing and business professional and investor with Investing Women Angels. Welcome, ladies, and thank you for joining me. Now, all three of you are investors and all three of you are female founders. So you are well placed to talk about our topic for today of why do female founders get investment? We've all heard some really depressing statistics around the fact that only 1/10 of every pound of venture capital goes to female founders. And in the news earlier this month, we heard that Robinhood raised in 5 days as much money as a year's worth of venture capital investment into all women-founded business in the US. And of course, they're a fully male-led team. But we're seeing a very different story here at AccelerateHER and Investing Women. Indeed, we've just seen 12 pitches from very investable companies. So I'm going to turn to you first, Jackie, and say, why are the female founders that we're seeing getting investment?
Well, the very short answer to that is, of course, just what you've said there, Elizabeth, extremely investable companies. And, you know, just look at who we've seen today. You know, it's not hard to work that one out. But just to give that a bit more depth, before I pass on to my fellow angels who've got, you know, lots more to add to this. But I think it actually boils down to three things. And this is what has been, you know, they've all been big needs for female founders for too long now, but the change is happening, which is great. Visibility, connections, networks, I guess. In our case, because I want to be a little bit specific about that, access to women angels. I think that is making a difference here. So just to expand on that slightly, the visibility is just what, you know, today is all about, and lots of other things besides what we're doing. But you know, you have to be seen. You have to get those connections, and you know, all the female founders that we've been working with have been really excellent at putting themselves forward. But you know, having the connections to the right networks, and you know, I guess what we've done here is, you know, we've really created a channel and a network for female founders and made it as visible as possible so that you do get seen. And we've seen the impact of that from this last year. But the connections and networks are really critical on another level as well. And I guess all of us in Investing Women Angels and people in our wider networks that we work with are what you would call connectors. You know, people with a positive attitude and a wide reach. And you know, that is so critical when it comes to making the introductions that are going to open doors, be that for investment or for just market connections and people who can help on that growth journey. But it's also about investment readiness and actually understanding what will make the company investable and just help to get there. So there's that. And then just to touch briefly on the female angels angle there, there's loads of data, which is mostly US really, but you know, just showing this echo effect where you increase the level of female angels, you will increase the level of investment going into female founder companies. And that's angel, not VC. It's different, but we have such a dynamic angel community here in Scotland, and you know, within our own group, you know, we're seeing that we don't actually only invest in female founded companies, but we're doing everything that you see with the sister company AccelerateHER to try to help more women get there. And in reality, we've got to the stage now in Investing Women Angels where we're still a modest size group, but we're growing rapidly thanks to the networks of some of our amazing members, and I've got two of them here with me who are introducing new women all the time, which is wonderful. We're getting close to 2 million that we've invested. We're just short of that now, and we're living it, because 81% of what we've invested has gone into female founded companies. So starting to see that change there, but it wouldn't happen unless you guys were investable, but and you are. So I hope that partially answers the question, but I'm going to stop talking now and hand over to Liesl and Evelyn to add to that.
Evelyn, I'm sure you've got something to add there, especially with your investment banking background.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, as Jackie said, all of your businesses, the thing that differentiates whether or not female-founded businesses get funding is not great ideas, because you've all got great ideas and we've seen all the depressing stats, so I'm not going to belabor those. But the thing that I think makes a huge difference for female founders, because let's face it, we've got to be better than all the rest to get the money, is the ones that start thinking about about how they're going to fund their businesses hand in hand with their business development. So they're thinking about it as a strategic endeavor as they do their route to market, as they do how they develop their tech, etc., etc. It goes hand in hand. They give themselves plenty of time, and they consider along the way how that funding is going to work for them. And the amazing news is that for female founders who do get funding, we're fabulous at using it really, really efficiently, which is what investors want to see. So I think that moving the dial is only a matter of time and a big effort to get over those unconscious biases that we see among particularly VCs. But I hope that we've had a little bit of a backward step this year, but I think I'm really looking forward to seeing female-founded companies get more and more funding every year from now on.
Thanks, Evelyn. Lisa, have you got anything to add there?
Yes, I do actually. I come at this from a marketing perspective, and whenever people are looking for funding, regardless of gender, you're actually in the sales and marketing business from the get-go. So you're actually selling something. And I think sometimes the difference, without trying to divide along gender lines too much, there's times men tend to go for what my friend Rory Sutherland calls a psychological moonshot, and women tend to go for a psychological narrative. And I think that can be the difference. You're telling a consistent, compelling, and comprehensive narrative about your company, your people in your company, what they can deliver, the customers, your supply chains, etc. And women are good at that. We tend to look at things by asking sometimes what other people would tend to think of as stupid questions. Why do we do it this way? Why can't we do it a different way? And we're not afraid to ask those questions. So I think it comes down to being able to tell this really compelling narrative that women focus on. And I think that's really why people who are funding them feel that they believe it's believable, it's credible, it's well thought through, it's genuine. And that's why women are getting the money.
Absolutely right there, Lisa, and I love that psychological moonshot and as opposed to a narrative. I've been involved in discussions where we've spoken about actually it's not that women aren't getting enough, it's that men are asking for too much. And so would you say then, is it that it's not that women are so much are asking for, well, they're asking for less because they can do more with less. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think that that is very much the case, actually. What we've seen from some of the statistics that are out there and the data that's out there, there's two things that's worth referencing there. I think actually, Boston Consulting Group did a report in 2019 based on 350 startups, and most of the data is American, I'm afraid, but per dollar invested, the female founders in that sample were generating more than double the revenue of their male counterparts. And that was with less than half of the investment, the average investment. So more from less, which just echoes Evelyn's earlier point about careful money management. And also the other reference point is First Capital is a few years before that, but in Silicon Valley with 600 of their investee companies, did analysis and showed that where there were female founders, the return on investment was 63% higher. So this is pretty compelling evidence. And if you combine the very careful money management, so it's risk management, not to be confused with risk aversion, because we hear that too often, that's rubbish. It's actually risk management. And female founders are really good at that. You know, the evidence speaks for itself. And you combine that with a better return on investment, then why wouldn't you invest in female founded companies? So, you know, it's very, very compelling evidence for the case to do that and the opportunities. And I think, you know, we just keep working at that visibility so that, you know, these great female founders are seen and recognized for the fantastic opportunities that they represent.
I mean, do you agree with that, Evelyn? I did notice you nodding.
I think we all look like those toys in the front of cars nodding away. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing when you think of the investor landscape and you look at all this compelling data and you see, you know, you can see it evidenced in a lot of different ways. So, you know, for example, in Bohurst's report on female founders, women are starting to get more seed money. It falls apart a bit at the venture capital level, but still there are more deals and each deal is worth a bit less for female founders. Yet they are performing statistically better. And, you know, I think getting to that money without losing that efficiency of the way we use the capital is a really compelling narrative. Because at the end of the day, that's what investors want. They want you to get the most value out of the money that they give you. So why would they not invest?
Yeah.
Duh.
Why would you not? Absolutely. Lisa, what I found quite fascinating in the discussion I had with you the other day was about how thinking about raising investment as being really a sales process. It's about telling a story. Do you think women are a wee bit better at telling stories than men, or are men a wee bit better at bigging themselves up and selling that moonshot?
I mean, but there's lots of psychological evidence to suggest that men do spend more time talking about things and women do spend more time talking about people and relationships. Again, it's not, I mean, it's not black and white, but it is generally it is true. Things are, if you talk about stereotypes, there's often a sort of truth among stereotypes, and that's how they arise. So what we're seeing now is, you know, to be fair, you know, there are a lot of younger men coming through the business world who are probably more attuned to the psychological relationship side. If you look at some of the way that young people, millennials and Gen Zs are thinking, but equally, you know, women are now making their mark in the technology side. There's some fantastic women that we've seen pitching, have been looking at IT, biotech, etc. But there is this kind of psychological and relationship thing which women do from a very young age. We're socialized to do it. And it's always been put to us as being a negative, you know, boys build things and women build relationships. But wow, when it comes to pitching your business and actually developing your business, having that natural ability to think through relationships is so important, as well as obviously the telling stories as part of that relationship building. So I think we're looking at, you know, more of a coming together of what really needs to be a fully rounded person, which is all of these things. We need tech, we need experience, we need knowledge, but we also need the relationships, understanding the psychology, how people think. And that's where the sweet spot is, if you can get those two things.
So the dial is moving, we're all agreed it's moving. What can we do to make it move a wee bit faster? Aside from what we're doing already, what can we do and what can the people watching do to make it move faster?
I'll jump in. Support each other. We're all doing it anyway, but keep on doing it. You know, men do an amazing job of supporting each other, bringing each other into businesses. We need to do as good a job, if not better, as women in doing that, and talking about each other's businesses, promoting each other's businesses, and just really being allies to each other.
Yeah. And aim high. You know, I think aim very high. Our female founders, I mean, the ladies with us today, you know, are right there in terms of the aspirations and the high level, because I think because we haven't had as much benefit of these, you know, great networks and supporting each other that Evelyn's just described, you know, that there can be a tendency to understate the potential. So don't do that. Aim high. And, you know, this is one of the things that we've seen such a lot of this last year, with having our continuing group of last year's finalists and now this year's as well joining that, is that that reflecting with each other is just helping people to recognize that massive potential that's there and not understate it anymore. And I think that links to some of the points that Liesl was making earlier as well about, you know, when that then translates into the investment journey, that instead of, as we sometimes see, you know, the psychology with many female founders is very much about wanting to deliver, you know, make sure we deliver on what we say we're going to do. Therefore, maybe sometimes a tendency to show the financial side of the business at the lowest end of possibility, instead of, yes, sure, having that as the sort of bare minimum that you're confident you're going to get to, but what's the scale of that possibility? And don't be scared to talk about that, because in the investor's decisions in balancing risk with the potential for returns, you know, that's that decision-making process. How big can this go? What the returns look like versus the risks, and everybody has risks in their business. That's not a negative. It's expected. It's just a balancing act between the two. So don't understate potential. Yeah, I think that helps too.
So, ladies, I could talk to you all morning. I really could. This is a pet subject of ours. This is probably quite apparent to everyone else. But we really should rein it in, because I'm hoping that very soon the judges will be back in the room to tell us who the winners are in each category. But so just to finish, can I ask each of you in turn? I'm going to start with Liesl to give one tip to these female founders that are here today, and any other female founders that might be watching that are going for investment. What's one tip that you would give them in seeking investment?
I'm going to give them a very odd tip, and probably not what they expect. The tip I would give them is, don't forget what you have. If you go away from here today and lift up 2 other women in the next week, someone on your social networks, introducing 2 people that you think might be able to help each other, a contact of some kind, giving somebody a bit of advice. If everybody's doing that and creating that network, it's very powerful. Think about how you can uplift at least two women in the next week, and it'll come back to you.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one, and it's not that odd at all, actually. Evelyn.
So I'm going to be really practical about the funding process, and maybe the other end of the spectrum from Liesl, which is an absolutely brilliant tip. But my top tip is start early and educate yourself so that you go after what you need and what you want.
Sound advice, start early. And finally, Jackie.
Okay, I mean, these are great tips from my fellow angels here, but so I think I'm going to go back to the be bold. I've actually got a whole list here, but I'll start with, or stick to the be bold and, you know, think global from day one. This is one of the things we got echoed last week on our virtual mission in Germany, is that, you know, people do that. You know, again, being surrounded by 9 countries probably helps with that. But, you know, maybe in our UK island state, sometimes there's a temptation to think about the UK market first and then think international, but think global from day one. It might still be in stages to get there, but, you know, it's that mindset and then the planning that goes with it.
Thank you, Jackie, and well done, ladies. I know we cut this a wee bit short because we were a wee bit behind time. So thank you for agreeing to shorten your sentences a wee bit. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Well, folks, it is the moment of truth. But before we hear who the winners are, I just want to say a couple of things. Firstly, you're all in a privileged position to be hearing live who the winners are. And we would be extremely grateful if you would keep that under your hat until tomorrow when the press will cover it. After that, shout it from the rooftops. Tag us, investing_women, hashtag AccelerateHER, but for now, keep it under your hats. And secondly, just to our finalists, as Jackie said at the start, you are all winners. Doesn't matter what happens in the next 5 minutes, you are all winners. And you have all done brilliantly today. I'm extremely proud of you. I've no right to say that really, but I am very proud of you all. And it's been a pleasure watching you. So without further ado, I'd like to start by welcoming Ben Davey, and he's going to announce the winners in the cleantech and climate category. And to remind you, the finalists there were Mary Cochran of DreamPads, Emily Rogers and Claire Rampin of Wreath, and Ash Penley of Zoex. Ben, firstly, thank you for your time as a judge today. Much appreciated.
An absolute pleasure. And look, needless to say, you all did standout jobs today, really wonderful presentations. So on behalf of the panel of judges, in relation to the clean tech and climate category.
Ben, can I just pause you there, because I'm going to let Alison bring the 3 finalists up on the screen. She's not spotlighted them yet. Okay. So bring them up so as we can see their faces just a wee bit more. There we go. You can take me away, Elaine. Alison, they don't need to see me.
Ben, that was the equivalent of a advert break during the X Factor announcement there.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That was my little warm up. Okay, am I good to start now?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So look, first of all, outstanding presentations, everyone. Really well done. So difficult to do that in such a short space of time. You all did wonderfully well, and some fantastic companies. So on behalf of my fellow judges, I'm delighted to say that in relation to the first of the categories, the obviously clean tech and climate category, in a very, very close decision, our winner is Zoex Power Limited.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you so much.
Well done, Ash. I'm so delighted for you.
Thank you.
Mary, Claire and Emily, I am so sorry. You all did brilliantly. But well done to Ash. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. I really want to say to my competitors, they were brilliant. So this is really shocking and great news for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So next up, we're going to have Jackie Waring announce the winner of the Disruptive Innovation category. The finalists there were Catherine Patterson of So2 Company, Tess Whitaker of The Voice Distillery, and Rebecca Goss of Xgenix. And they're just appearing on the screen as if by magic this time. So Jackie, take it away.
Oh, do you know, I just do not envy the judges the decision here, or in any of the categories for that matter at all. Ladies, all 3 of you were just amazing. And it must have been, I guess, a really, really close decision. I'm so sure of that. But I have very great pleasure in announcing the winner in the category to be Rebecca Goss from Xgenix. Well done, Rebecca. I'm so thrilled for you. And Catherine and Tess, you were absolutely brilliant as well. So really well done, ladies. Congratulations, Rebecca.
Well done,
Thank you
Rebecca.
so much. Thank you so much. You guys were absolutely brilliant. And Tess, I could listen to you all day. Your voice distillery idea is wonderful. And Catherine, it's a product that has to be out there. And yeah, I'm going to be recommending it to lots of people. You guys are awesome, and I'm blown away to be winners. So thank you so much, guys. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Well done, Rebecca, and sorry, Catherine and Tess, you were brilliant. I wish you could all win. So now I'm going to ask Sonal Lakhani back from Barclays to announce the winner of the FinTech, Data Science and Cybersecurity category. The finalists there were Sarah Werner, Sarah of Husmus, Lynn Darcy-Quigley of Knowit Global, and Beth Michael of Streva. Another tough competition, and they're just appearing on the screen with us now. Sonal.
I see fintechs every day, no joke, and I think you three are some of the best fintechs I've seen genuinely in the last 12 months, if not longer. Such a hard decision, big debate, and I'd like to announce the winner as Sarah from Husmus. So congratulations. But I think you're all doing something so amazing. So congratulations to all of you.
Guys, thank you so much. I can't believe this. I mean, I think the two of you are just amazing people. Your products are crazy. Beth and Lynn, you guys did a really great job. I am so thankful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Honestly, thank you.
Well done, Sarah. Congratulations, and Lynn and Beth, commiserations. But you put in a good effort there. So well done to all of you. Sarah's face there, fantastic. And finally, oh dear, we've made medtech and science wait all day today, and there's no exception at the end here. I'm going to ask Lindsay McGranahan from CGI to tell us who the winner is there. And the finalists were Ishani Malhotra of Carcinotech, Kate Cameron of Cytochroma, and Jude Sims of My Go Forward. Lindsay, you had a tough choice there.
Yeah, a really tough choice. In fact, we were saying, much like what you said earlier on, we wish we could give the award to everyone. Really amazing technology. I mean, genuinely things that we can be really proud of, particularly given what's happened in the last year and the importance on health moving forward. But I am absolutely delighted on behalf of all the judges, and I'm sure it's really been worth it. But to announce Kate from Climatona as the winner of the MedTech and Science Award. Well done, Kate.
Thank you so much. Yay! And thank you so much to Shani and Jude for spectacular talks as well. I was convinced that I'd lost at the end. So yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay, and thank you to AccelerateHER. Yeah, what a journey for a morning. Oh.
Well done, Kate, and again, Shani, Jude, you were fabulous, and I'm so sorry, but I hope you'll agree, Kate's a worthy winner. And I'd just like to say that Kate and Ash in the cleantech are both second time lucky. So do come back next year. Do get your entry next year, because when you're a year further down the line, then hopefully it would be you up here as the winner. I'm just so delighted. I have a few words of thanks to say, but as I'm doing that, I'm going to ask Alison to bring back on the screen our 4 winners and our 3 judges and Jackie, and if that's possible to spotlight that many, and try and get a photo of them all as I'm talking. And yes, you can take me off the screen. So so Ben, Sonal and Lindsay, Jackie, Kate, Ash, Rebecca and Sarah, you'll need to smile nicely for the camera. And as we're doing that, all that really remains is for me to thank a few people. Our judges, Ben, Sonal and Lindsay, you have done an absolutely terrific job. It was not easy, and I am so glad that I was not didn't have to make the choice myself, but you did a fantastic job, and well done getting back in that time frame. I wasn't sure if I'd given you enough time, so well done, and for the confusion of switching between Zoom rooms as well. I also have to thank the AccelerateHER team. Alison Jones and Elaine Bowen have been working away in the background, not only today, but since we launched the awards back in October. And they've been absolutely the wind beneath my wings for this process. And of course to Jackie for starting all this in the first place. Definitely, I see Sarah clapping, yes. Thank you to the AccelerateHER team. Our sponsors, goes without saying, the Scottish Government, Barclays Eagle Labs and CGI UK. We couldn't do this without them. We get bigger every year and they just get right behind us and help us take it to that next level. And of course, our rising star sponsors, Aberdeen Considine and Purpose HR. I have to say thank you to our finalists, our semi-finalists, and indeed all the awards entrants. This takes up the majority of my time for a small period during the year, but it is great fun because I get to see all the entries, I get to speak to you all. It's fantastic, and you have done me proud today. And I hope that the rest of you watching can now understand why I say I've got the best job in the world. And to the rest of you for watching, thank you for coming along. Take heart those words during our fireside chat, and we're saying we need to support these ladies. We need to shout about them from the rooftops. This will be going, we've recorded the session, it will be going on the AccelerateHER YouTube channel tomorrow. Share the life out of it. More people need to hear all of these fantastic female founders, and of course our rising star as well. And with that, I'm going to hand back to Jackie.
And with that, Elizabeth, can I just ask everyone to smile so I can get a photo of everyone looking?
Oh, you brought me in.
Thank you so much. Everyone smile so we know it's happening. Okay. Much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And over to Jackie.
Folks, I'm going to keep it very short because Elizabeth has rounded up so well. And I actually want to start by a big thank you to Elizabeth, because I'm sure everybody here will more than agree that her MC skills are legendary, and Elizabeth and the rest of the team behind her, she's already thanked them, I want to thank them again, work like Trojans to make this happen and to go so well today. And, you know, so thank you, Elizabeth. This wouldn't be the event it is without you. And really just a huge thank you to everybody else again, a massive congratulations to our very, very worthy founders and winners. And I can't wait to be seeing all of you finalists as well, not just the winners, more and more over the next year, doing more with you. And there will be more missions coming up. Really hope we're going to be able to do the in-person international at some point, but there is quite a lot happening already digitally, and more in Germany in May, which will be quite relevant to some of our winners here. So more to come there. But listen, thank you everyone. I really hope that the audience have been as inspired as we have. I think I share the best job in the world with Elizabeth. We just love it. It's why we do it. It is a pleasure, and just a huge thank you to our judges as well, who just the toughest job ever. We love working with you all, and thank you. That's it. Thank you.